jumble sentence. After you identify the topic sentence, I can easily identify the topic sentence, which is E. Right? She, who's that she? We, who's that we? Are, who's that are? Who's she? I know it's E. So I asked Meena about her occupation. So the clue word is occupation here. So what did she say? She said that she was a school teacher, social worker, EA, okay. And then she also added something, right? Also is your descriptive clue. She also said that social work was a hobby and not the job. So EAD. So as soon as she said that, what happened? The conversation took another direction. Why? She's given extra information. So EAD, C, and the last one left is B. That's it. It's a pretty easy one. If you got the sequence right, you would have got your questions also right, which is first sentence is E, second sentence is A, third sentence is D, fourth sentence is C, fifth sentence is, what is the fifth sentence? B. That's it. So she says, ma'am, in 25th November exam in second jumble sentence, the first sentence should F. It should be F, no ma'am. So I have put down the question. So basically, out of these 6 sentences, so in fact, if I'm not wrong, I think that is the first sentence. I don't know if there was any mistake in terms of selecting the answer when we selected the questions. The sequence is correct, right? The sequence is still, I don't know how many of you took this test. This was the 25th of November jumble sentence test. Usually in jumble sentence, there are 2 tests, right? So F is the first sequence. Why? Because it sets the context. We said some of the repeat phrases were destroying the enemy's productive capacity, destroying the enemy's productive capacity, destroying the enemy's productive capacity, and then we had battle with your enemy, battle with the enemy, right? Destroying the enemy's productive capacity. So we said F kind of sets the pace or sets the foundation, saying under what context do we have to battle with the enemy. So here F is talking about with regard to defense. So the context is set. Right? The purpose of the military is to defend the nation and be prepared to do battle with its enemy. And then we have, so how do you do? So one of the other ways we always keep saying is to connect logical sentences is to ask questions. Yeah? So FE, so Pravina, your question is, F is the first sequence for this, D, E, and then we said B, A, C based on the hint words, descriptive hint words, right? Antonym hint words. How do you battle with your enemy, right? The reason why is, how do you battle with your enemy? Like under what context? In where can I use this? Where is it applicable? Right? Battle with your enemy can be in any context. So I can look at it as maybe I'm competing with somebody, right? I'm battling it out with them verbally on something, right? So the context is set only in F because it gives me somewhere that I can relate it to. With regard to defense, the purpose of the military is to defend the nation and be prepared to do battle with its enemy. So how do you do battle with the enemy? And there's a direct answer, E. That's why you start with F being the pretext or the foundation. A, B, C, D, E, F, okay, and G, alright. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 sentences. Answer C, B, G, F, D is my answer. Is my answer right? Okay. So this is your answer. What is this? Place of there in third parter. Let's not overlook the way in which the examinations are administered. I am not understanding this second part of the question. Let's look at the sequence first quickly before we move on. I'm not too sure. Identify the topic sentence. Don't go by what the sequence Harishankar had put. You can just start off saying what you think is the topic sentence. Elephants are the world's largest animals, at least that is currently living. So I can put it like that also. Both are acceptable. For me, if you ask me, my opinion, it's redundant. There's easily, I can identify why AFD, most of you have come back, right? AFD is a connect. I am able to quickly follow that, because it's almost like a question, right? It says teaching, particularly school teaching, is not exactly a first choice career option for most. To confirm this, why is it not the first option? I asked an assembly of parents in my school how many of them would encourage their son to be a school teacher, and then D says no one replied in affirmation. So it's almost like this is the context. So AFD, yes, is a link. The question is, should CEBG come before or CEBG come after, or whatever, alright? So let's look at the remaining 4 sentences and where the context is. Let's not overlook the way in which the examinations are administered, okay? Then E says, has anyone, for instance, done an audit of the examiners? Okay, and then B says, after all, the examiners come from the pool of school teachers, and I dare say that by and large, that is not a distinguished catchment area. And then G says, the reasons for this are manifold. So let's look at this. Now, the context through the entire passage revolving around is, we understand that they are talking about the examination system and the people who are administering it, right? That's what the context is all about. So, and if you look at one of the many reasons is this, AFD. So the sequence, whatever you put, Harishankar, is correct as it is. So I have a feeling this C, right, there is definitely some other larger context. Obviously, this is just a smaller portion taken from some other large context. So I'm sure there is some preceding statements to this, right? The article may not even start from C, because I'm sure they would have discussed something earlier. But keeping this as a base, there is a direct connect between C, E, B, G. So they're saying, how are the examinations administered? Who are the people who are invigilators or looking over these exams, right? Which are so who has actually gone ahead and selected those people, right? Have you done an audit of the examiners? So they start off with the process of exam administration, right? They move on to question the authorities or whoever is in charge of that, which is the examiners. And then they, in order of questioning the examiners themselves, they say, where do these people come from? Where is the source, right? They are nothing but school teachers, right? So is that appropriate if we are going ahead and questioning back? And then G says the reasons for this are manifold. The reasons being, teaching particularly is not exactly a first choice career option for most. So the reason why we can't start with AFD is simply because AFD only supports the thesis statement. Like the thesis statement is the whole examination system, how it's being administered, right? And then we come back and we pointing fingers at the school teachers saying, they're not the right people because they probably are not at the right, they don't have the right credibility, or the quality is not to the level of expectation, or whatever the reasons are, right? And then AFD is kind of supporting this whole thesis saying, why? Because this is how teaching is looked at as a profession, right? School teaching is not exactly a first choice career option, and most parents would not want their children to take that as a path. So the reasons for this is this, that's why. That's how I'm looking at it. I don't know. Somebody has to confirm. But I feel, Hari, that this is the right sequence. C, E, B, G, A, F, D. But I'm not understanding the second part of yours. If you are here, please clarify. No, examiners are not clarifying. They are just stating what it is. See, if you look at it, C says, we should not neglect the way the examinations are administered. It starts off with that. And then it moves on to say the process of how they do it. Who selects these people? Is an audit being done on the examiners to begin with? And then it moves on to say, who are these examiners? Actually, they are nothing but the teachers themselves, right? Those are the very same people whom we are questioning. And then G, the reasons for this is manifold, simply because. So it almost seems like, you just want someone to point fingers at. You don't have anybody who's willing to take up the role of the examiner. If you're saying, I feel this is not the quality profession where I would push my son and daughter to do this, but the irony is that you don't have a choice, because at the end of the day, it's the very same teachers whom you are not allowing your son and daughter to go to are the ones who are actually auditing and examining your sons and daughters' performance. Are you following? Manifold means great in number. So I hope you're understanding the context. So basically the context is revolving around, this is what the situation is, but the irony is the same reason that you are giving a reason saying, I will not send my daughter or son to this profession because I don't think it's, I would prefer an engineer or a doctor more than a teacher as a career option. But the same profession that you consider is not worth it is the people who are evaluating your sons and daughters' performance to whatever profession. So that's the irony there. That's how I look at it.